What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Dylan here, back again for another video, and today we're here to do a very special video, a video I've been waiting to do since, I don't know, week one of the regular season. I love doing these NFL prediction videos because A, it gets you guys interested, it gets you guys to comment below, and B, it really just shows me how good I am at predicting things because during the regular season, we did our predictions between me and Mitch, and I won. I got 171 wins. So I was pretty impressed with myself. I was like, good job, you did pretty good. So I'm here today being the first person on the channel to do the predictions for the playoffs. We're going to do the wild card round. We're going through the entire playoffs. In between, like after the wild card round, we'll do one leading up to the divisional round, and then leading up to the NFC and AFC championship game, and then the Super Bowl. But we also wanted to do a full, complete prediction just to see where we're at here. So it might be wrong, it might be right, and some predictions and outcomes won't happen because of certain games. The AFC for me was quite easy to do, especially the wild card round. There was one game I was kind of, like, I don't know about, but and the NFC, it's all over the place. So you're going to have to stay tuned and see where that is. And guys, don't be mad if your team doesn't, if I didn't predict your team to win. It's my opinion, and we're going to get into my reasons for it. And hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Of course, spike the like button, and let's get into it. So here we're going to go from, the setup here is, we're going to start off at the AFC wild card. And work our way down all the way through the AFC until I announce who I think is going to win the AFC. Then go to the NFC, do the same thing until I get to the winner of the NFC, and then I'll tell you my Super Bowl matchup and who I think is going to win there. Okay. So first off, we have number 6 Miami taking on number 3 Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh here in the wild card round to start off on. That game's going to be on Sunday. For me, when I look at these teams, I look at Pittsburgh as a very good team. They got a very clutch opportunity and beat Baltimore 2 weeks ago to win the AFC North. They've played good and bad all year. They've had a really, really good offense. I mean, they got the big three over there. Big Ben always knows how to come in clutch. He's got Le'Veon Bell, one of the best running backs in the league. I would say at least top 3. And then you got Antonio Brown, who's a fucking beast every single day of the week. Their offense is stacked. It's really their defense that's been very sketchy all year that we don't exactly know where they're going to bring it. With Miami, there's still quarterback questions. If Matt Moore is going to start, Ryan Tannehill is supposed to be in practice this week, so he could still be a game-time decision for Saturday's game or Sunday's game. It really just kind of comes down to logistics here. I know Miami did beat Pittsburgh last time earlier this season. However, I'm going to pick Pittsburgh here. I think Pittsburgh's got more of the weapons. I think they got more of the ground game going for them. I know Jay Ajayi will be a huge asset for Miami. However, I just think the defense of Pittsburgh will bring it a little bit more than the Miami offense. And I think with that said, Pittsburgh's the overall stronger team that could find the weaknesses of Miami and go out there and score, especially at home. They're going to be in Heinz Field for that game. So I'm going to pick Pittsburgh over Miami on this one. And then in the other matchup, we have number 5 seed Oakland versus number 4 seed Houston. This is a very pathetic matchup. Oakland, of course, they lost their quarterback Derek Carr, and then also lost their backup quarterback Matt McClown yesterday as of this recording. So now they're up with the Calvin Cook, who has not started a single, or Connor Cook, who has not started or played in an NFL game besides yesterday. So then we have Houston over here. Tom Savage got a concussion, so we don't know if he's going to be playing in this game. If not, we're going to have to watch Brock Osweiler, who is absolute garbage in my opinion. With that said, I'm going to go with Houston. I have to pick Houston. With Derek Carr, I would say this is they wouldn't even be in the 5 seed. They would be in the 2 seed, ready to go and take a bye and go on to the divisional round. However, this Oakland team is just defeated. We saw it against Denver. They had no rhythm, no tempo. They had none of that same flow that they did with Derek Carr, and Derek Carr's the obvious reason. With a guy like Connor Cook, who has not played has not started an NFL game, much less he's going to start his first game in the playoffs. It's going to be bad for him, and I feel bad for the kid. But at the end of the day, Houston just has more to offer because Oakland's so defeated. If it was a Derek Carr situation, this would be an interesting little playoffs right here for the AFC. But with that said, I got to go with Houston on this one. So let's get into our two matchups here in the AFC Divisional round. So we have number 4 Houston taking on number 1 New England. I'm easily going to pick New England. If you've ever seen any of the New England-Houston games in the playoffs in the last 14 years, you would realize how much of a stinker these are. Houston comes in as like underdogs. We're going to try to defeat them, and then fucking Tom Brady just throws 5 touchdowns. Tom Brady, obviously, I think this is going to be his playoffs. He knows exactly what Houston's defense is capable of and what pressure they're going to bring. However, they don't have J.J. Watt. They have Jadeveon Clowney, who shows up and then doesn't show up. Their defense is not really there to speak on the part of Tom Brady, who will find Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, you name it, Martellus Bennett. He seems to make good receivers great receivers. And with that said, I think he has a lot of good talent over there in New England, and I think he's going to stop Houston. And I think also I was going to have a garbage day against a pretty improved defense. So I'm going to go with New England to go to the AFC Championship game. And then the hardest one for me out of this entire AFC was number 3 Pittsburgh versus number 2 Kansas City in the divisional round. It was such a hard one for me to do. Because I like both Pittsburgh's offense and Kansas City's offense. I like the defense of Kansas City a lot, and I like the tempo that it's going to be in Kansas City. However, at the end of the day, I've got to go with Pittsburgh on this one, and it's really hard for me to pick. Kansas City could be in there. It could be my only flaw in this entire one. That's only what I really expect it to be. However, I go in there and I see Pittsburgh with this offense and say, are they going to be able to keep up? Is Alex Smith and their offense going to be able to keep up with Pittsburgh's offense? And we saw it earlier this season. Pittsburgh destroyed Kansas City. I'm not saying it's going to happen again, but damn near everybody was on the field for that game as well. So I got a feeling this time around Pittsburgh is going to keep it up and keep the tempo and put up a lot of points. If Marcus Peters does his thing, he might be able to show out and maybe prove me wrong, but I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers on this one, just barely. Like the field goal, I'm predicting like maybe a 28-24 game or a 24-21, something like that. So in the AFC Championship game for me, I got number 3 Pittsburgh versus number 1 New England. If you know anything about last time this happened, New England destroyed Pittsburgh in New England, and that's exactly where we have it here in New England. I've got to pick the Patriots here. Tom Brady, 28 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Just an absolutely fantastic season, even with missing the first 4 games of the season. It always seems like he has Pittsburgh's number, and Big Ben just can't keep up. The New England defense does want to show out and make some plays and make some interesting reads on him to kind of distract the fact. The key thing for Pittsburgh is to have Big Ben healthy, and I think he will be, but that defense is really going to stack it up on him and try to get him a little bit under pressure so he can't make these big throws to Sammy Coates or Antonio Brown or somebody like that. So with that in mind, I'm thinking New England's going to win the AFC and move on to the Super Bowl in Houston. Let's go to the NFC side, and this one's going to be very controversial because I had to make a lot of decisions. I had to make a lot of hard picks, and I went with my gut, and here we go. Number 6, Detroit is taking on number 3, Seattle in the wild card round of the playoffs. For me, Detroit has played good, but has fallen off in the last 2 games. I think their offense is certainly credible to play here, and I think they have been very interesting to watch. As for Seattle, the good thing for them is that they're at home. The bad thing for them is they've been very, very shoddy. Every once in a while, they can play a good game, but if you've looked over the last couple of weeks, they've played some playoff contender teams and have not been able to win. They lost 14-5 to Tampa Bay, who's not in the playoffs, but had a chance to make the playoffs. They got demolished by the Green Bay Packers a couple of weeks ago. They lost to the Cardinals this past week, or the week before, week 17. They almost lost to the freaking Rams. And who loses to the 49ers, I'm sorry. And who loses to the 49ers? I have no idea. It's a hard one for me to pick. Seattle is a very awful offensive line. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going with number 6 Detroit over number 3 Seattle. And I know that's going to be like, whoa, I don't know if I want to go that deep. But I got my reasons for it. I think Matthew Stafford obviously realizes that he dropped the ball in the NFC North title game this past week. He's having to come up there and on a short week make adjustments. And I think they're going to be able to figure out what Seattle is doing because their offensive line is just terrible. And for the Detroit defensive line, what they have to do is get past that and make Russell Wilson a 1-degree quarterback. Don't make him run outside the pocket because that's something he's going to have to do a lot. And if you can contain that, I think Seattle could very well lose this game. I know their defense is there and they're quite strong, but they're not as strong as they were last year or even in the last couple of years. They've been very one-dimensional this time around. So I got to go with Detroit. And it might be a shocking pick, but I'm actually going to pick Detroit over Seattle here. Next up, we have another hard, very, very hard game for me to pick. Number 5, New York Giants versus number 4, Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. These games are very, very interesting to watch every single year when we get them between the Giants and the Packers, and this one should be no different. Eli Manning, I've always talked about it. He's a very, 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 very overrated regular season quarterback, but when he comes to the playoffs, he just kind of hits a nerve somewhere. He just gets something going. And with Green Bay, 4-6, Aaron Rodgers said, we're going to run the table, and I had no idea what that meant because I thought he was an absolute lunatic. And yeah, they've won every single game since. They're 10-6 right now. With that said, it's just going to be a very interesting game to watch. There's a lot of things that are going on that are making this a really interesting contest. But with that said, I'm going to go with Green Bay to win this game. I really do like the New York Giants defense. I think that's quite an interesting aspect to this game. So I just, honestly, I do like that defense to try to get something in the head of Aaron Rodgers. But Aaron Rodgers has been on fire lately, and it's going to be an interesting contest to see if Aaron Rodgers can keep up the hype, and I think he will in this game in the wild card round. So that means by seeding, we have 6 seed Detroit Lions versus number 1 Dallas Cowboys. If we saw the game a couple weeks ago where Dallas didn't really have that much to play on the line and Detroit was trying to get an NFC North title shot or win, just Dallas beat them by 3 touchdowns. I think Dallas knows exactly where the defense is going to be playing here. The only addition to the defense at this time around would be Darius Slay, who wasn't in the first game. But I think with Des Bryant coming in, and making his hot hand in the running game could easily just go through with Ezekiel Elliott. I think he can run over Detroit if he is very patient like he has been. And Dak Prescott, if his offensive line can protect him for just enough time, 3 to 4 seconds, he can find the right throws to guys like Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams, even to Bryce Butler. So with that in mind, I'm going to go with Dallas Cowboys on this one. I just think Detroit will be outmatched here. And in the divisional round, we have number 4 seed Green Bay taking on the number 2 Atlanta Falcons. Matty Ice has been absolutely spectacular, been the most underrated player in the year, in my opinion, in terms of big time, because we always think about Rodgers, Brady, look at the combination of rookies and Dak and Zeke. But Matt Ryan, with his combination of Julio Jones, has been absolutely fantastic across the board. They've been putting up points like it's nobody's business. Is their defense that great? No, but their offense has been absolutely amazing. So you got that over here against Green Bay, who's been hot. These teams did play earlier on in the season, and Atlanta did pick up that victory. I'm going to pick the Atlanta Falcons to win this game. Surprisingly, as surprising as that is, I just see Green Bay not making the task at hand. With Green Bay over there at Lambeau, I can trust them a little bit more, but in Atlanta, I don't really see that momentum picking up or keeping the same way. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a nice game to watch. I think what hurts them in this game is that there's no run game for them. And I would think they would be able to hit that off Atlanta's defense, but they're going to have to rely a lot on Aaron Rodgers' arm. And I think they're becoming a little bit more disciplined on defense in the last couple of weeks. So I just think with that in mind, Atlanta has been dominating people in the last couple of weeks, and their offense is a little too much for me to pick Green Bay, so I'm going to go with Atlanta. So that means in the NFC Championship game, we had number 2 seed Atlanta Falcons going up against the number 1 seeded Dallas Cowboys. For me personally, I look at both teams with great offenses and very, very skeptical defenses. I look over in Atlanta, I'm like, man, you got Vic Beasley, who I like, and then you don't have much else. And then for Dallas, it's their secondary. It really is their secondary. Because Brandon Carr is an absolute trash bag, and it's just very hard to go either way. What I like about this matchup is the fact that it's going to be very explosive. It's going to be high scoring. It's going to be a lot of interesting matchups coming up against the secondary, against the offense and the offensive line, the defensive line. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys here. I see Dak Prescott getting the momentum gains. I see guys like Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams stepping up big time against coverages that aren't exactly the best coverages in the world. They're not exactly what I would call the best cornerbacks or even linebackers in the world. I think they're going to be able to skim through and get through this game. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. So it's like, oh, okay, you scored 7, well, we have to score 7. It's going to be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I think Dallas wins the game just barely. I think Matt Ryan will put up a lot of numbers, and Julio Jones, they're going to have to find a way to stop Julio Jones. If anything, they're going to have to get Morris Claiborne by that time. But I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys here. So in our Super Bowl matchup for me, I had the New England Patriots taking on the Dallas Cowboys in Houston at Super Bowl 51. Interesting matchup here. You have the New England Patriots, who have always been the favorites out of the AFC for like the last, 15 years. 15 years. And you have the Dallas Cowboys, who are very young, very bright, very talented on that offense. Again, another offensive matchup. You've got a lot of great receivers that can be placed in with a good quarterback, good offensive lines. It's the defenses that are very interesting to watch. I predicted an upset last year. I predicted that Denver would actually go to the Super Bowl over New England and beat the Carolina Panthers, and I ended up picking that victory. So I'm going to go with another upset here. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys to win Super Bowl 51. I think, if anything, Ezekiel Elliott will have a monster game here than in any other game in the playoffs. I think he can rush through New England's defense. If he's able to get the offensive line help, which I think is a nice gain for him. With Dak Prescott, I think he can find his receivers open at the right times. I think he's going to be very clutch. I think Jason Garrett's going to have a special. Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan, they're going to be able to find a playbook for him where they know exactly where they want to go with him, how he's going to get through this New England Patriots defense. And for Tom Brady, I think he's still going to try to come up clutch and make another Super Bowl appearance, but I think it's going to be the young boys' time to get it done, and I think he's going to make an exceptional first season here. So I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys to win Super Bowl 51. If you guys enjoyed this video, Gronk spike the like button. Did I say Gronk spike the like button? Because I didn't pick New England, did I? Let's go with the Zeke eat that like button. It kind of works. Zeke eat that like button. Of course, comment below your thoughts on the playoffs. We really want to hear your thoughts because it's going to be interesting. We have a lot of differing opinions between me and you probably. So, comment below your thoughts. Who you think's going to win the Super Bowl? Am I right with my Dallas prediction? Is New England right? Who you got? What's going on there? Of course, subscribe to The Bottom Line View for more football content. We're going to have a lot of football content in the next month because of the playoffs and the Super Bowl. And, of course, you got to subscribe for the best wrestling content as well. We put out a lot of that. And a lot of stuff's coming up. Check the preview out that I uploaded yesterday talking about what's to come in 2017 because, guys, it's going to be a banger year for The Bottom Line View. It's Dylan. Peace out.